So should I share? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, you can bring up your slides, but welcome everybody to another From the Expert call. Today, we're going to be talking about the microbiome and gut health, which I think is great timing. I'm thinking for me, I'm like, oh man, Thanksgiving's coming up. I got to make sure that I am providing and supporting my gut as much as possible, and making some good choices too. So, but we're so excited. We have a new presenter to us from these expert calls series. Nazanin, she's our product safety specialist. She goes by Naz. And just in case you're wondering a little bit about what does a product safety specialist do at USANA, I'll give a high level, and then Naz, if there's anything you want to correct from what I say, let me know. But anytime that any of our customers or associates or anyone who takes our products have any type of adverse reaction, there's an investigation that goes behind it, right? We want to make sure that our products are safe and everything that's manufactured properly. And at USANA, we take that very seriously. As you know, we want to make sure that you feel comfortable with our products, sharing that with other people, and that we continue to manufacture our products to the highest standards. And I know at USANA we take it very seriously. And Naz is the one who leads that department and helps make sure that anytime that anyone has an adverse reaction to our products, or a serious one, that it is followed through and investigated properly. So did I say that okay?
That's perfect. Yeah, thanks, TJ. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
great.
Well, we're excited to have you. I know that to have you here today. I hope if you guys have any questions, please put it in the comments in the chat. Nathan and Stephanie are here with us in kind of in the backstage. They'll be chatting along if there's anything that comes up. But we're excited to learn from you. And so let's get your slides up, and then we'll turn the time over to learn from you.
Perfect. Well, okay, let's pull these up. All right. Can you see? Is it looking okay?
Everything looks great.
Great. Perfect. Well, I am just so excited to be here with you guys. I've never presented for this market before. As TJ said, yeah, my name is Nazanin, but I go by Naz if that's easier. And I have been with USANA since October of 2020. And I have just been having a blast being in this role, and it's just so nice to be here. And thanks for having me. So yes, today we are talking microbiome, and we'll start off defining what the microbiome is and what its role is in optimal health. Okay, so what is the microbiome? So, right, this is a new area, relatively new area of research, especially into human health. So let's take a second and define what we mean by microbiome. In its most simple terminology, the microbiome is a collection of microorganisms that live not only in us, but on us. So the microbiome includes the microorganisms that live on our skin. Now, there are different microbiomes out there. So today we'll be focused on the human microbiome, but there are microbiomes in the soil, in the air, in the water. So anywhere where we have a collection of microorganisms living, we have a microbiome. And diversity is key when it comes to this microbiome. And we'll talk a little bit more about diversity and how it's important for the gut health. And we'll look at a specific study that talks about that. Sometimes when we talk about the microbiome, there's another term that kind of creeps in and sometimes is used interchangeably, but it's important that we differentiate the two. So microbiota is a term that you'll often hear, but microbiota is specifically talking about the microorganisms themselves, whereas the microbiome is more encompassing. We're talking about the microorganisms plus their DNA, plus sometimes their metabolites that they produce. Sometimes we're even talking about the environment that they live in. So the microbiome, again, is more encompassing, and microbiota is talking about those specific organisms. So let's talk about the specific organisms. The main players that often get all the attention when we talk about the microbiome and the microorganisms that live there are the bacteria. And yes, they are so essential and so important, but let's give a quick shout out to the other guys that are there. We have fungi that live there and viruses. We have archaea, which are very structurally similar to the bacteria, but are different. We also see protozoa in the microbiome. So all these different critters are key to maintaining the diversity of our microbiome and to optimal health. But for the purposes of today, we'll mainly focus on bacteria. That's where a lot of the research is going, and a lot of product development is there too. So quick question for you all. Do you know how many microbial cells we have in our body? Is it in the millions, the billions, the trillions, or the quadrillions? So just a quick moment to think about that. And if you said 40 trillion, you would be right. The actual number is anywhere between 30 to 50 trillion microbial cells that make up our microbiome. But either way, it's just a large number. And they used to say, original research would say that we have 10 times more microbial cells than human cells. And that number has been recently updated. So it's really about a 1-to-1 ratio, with the favor slightly tipping toward microbial cells. But in my research for this and going through different studies about this, the joke that came along with this ratio is that the balance is so similar that one defecation event, or more precisely, even one enema, could tip the balance in the other direction. So it's really close, and it is a lot of microorganisms that live in and on us. The figure on the right here, right-hand side of the slide here, is just showing that we have a diverse grouping of bacteria that live in and on us. And that grouping will change depending on what area of the body that we're talking about. So each one of these bold headings are talking about different phylum of bacteria. So actinobacteria, bacteroidetes, firmicutes, and depending on where we are on the body, each one of these organisms might populate in greater numbers, and these ratios change depending on where we are. And they also change from person to person, which is why the microbiome research is quite difficult, is because we have variations from one population to the next. But we do know that the microbiome is essential for health. What studies are showing is that especially the gut microbiome, the bacteria in the gut microbiome play an essential role in various aspects of our health. So we know for gut health, for example, they help maintain the integrity of our gut lining. They also are essential in breaking down the foods that we eat and extracting essential nutrients. We also know that the bacteria help us synthesize vitamin K, different vitamin Bs. The bacteria are essential for immune health, right? Like, we used to think of bacteria as bad and pathogenic, but it's so much more complex than that. We have quite a symbiotic relationship with the bacteria in our gut. So our bodies have been evolved and adapted to work with the bacteria. So they benefit from living inside us. And we also benefit from the byproducts that they produce. And they also help keep the bad bacteria at bay and stop these pathogenic bacteria from overgrowing and wreaking havoc in our system. So essential. The bacteria are fighting the good fight for us. Okay, so let's go a little bit more into some terminology. Probiotics get a lot of attention. I'm sure you guys have seen different probiotic products, but we're also going to talk about prebiotics and postbiotics. So let's start. What is prebiotic? What is it that we're talking about when we talk about prebiotics? And again, in its most simple form, prebiotics are simply food for the microorganisms in our gut. So most specifically, we usually think of fibers when we think about prebiotics, but here is a list of examples of prebiotics. So we have fruit fibers, plant fibers like cellulose, and other non-digestible complex sugars. They're often called polysaccharides. Some examples of these are inulin, pectin, gums like guar gums, lignans, and other phytonutrients that we find in plants. So, quick shout out for our FiberG Active product. Not only does FiberG Active provide the fiber to help our gut stay regular, it also provides this food for our microbiome. So 9 out of 10 people need to consume more fiber. The average adult only gets about 16 grams of fiber when really it's recommended to get anywhere between 21 to 38 grams of fiber. So what better and easier way to get an extra 9 grams in your diet than to just have a rounded tablespoon of FiberG Active to help boost us to the recommended amount. And again, that recommendation depends on our age and our gender, but really for most adults, we need to get more fiber into our diet. So FiberG Active supports healthy digestion, but it also helps provide nutrients for a healthy and diverse microbiome. And of course, this one is gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free for our friends that might not be able to have those products. So just want to focus in on some of the special aspects of FiberG Active. So we have FOS inside our FiberG Active product, which is just a shorthand for fructooligosaccharides. And fructooligosaccharides are a soluble fiber that optimizes the movement of food through your digestive tract, but it's a polysaccharide. And as we talked about before, it also helps feed our microbiome and helps feed what is sometimes referred to as the good bacteria in our gut. FiberG Active also has sugarcane fiber, and that's an insoluble fiber that also helps supports regularity of our healthy bowel movement. Ideally, as some of you guys may know, we want a good balance of both soluble and insoluble fiber to get to stay regular. So good intestinal health and normal bowel regularity are crucial for health because we want to make sure we get rid of waste and toxins, because if they build up and stay in our belly, in our gut system, they can start to weigh us down and cause occasional discomfort. So getting that good balance of insoluble and soluble fiber, which most foods will have a balance of both, is essential for gut health. We also have agave inulin in the FiberG Active product. And as we talked about before, inulin is an example of a prebiotic, which again helps feed our gut microbiome. The scientists also added apple, blueberry, and raspberry powder into the FiberG Active component, or into the FiberG Active product. And that was to provide antioxidant support through the phytochemical component of apple, blueberries, and raspberries. All right, so we talked a little bit about the prebiotic. Now let's talk about the real stars, which are the probiotics. So one international association that specializes in this area defines probiotic as live microorganisms that, when administered in adequate amounts, confer a health benefit to the host. So really, these are just the microorganisms that we're delivering to specific sites inside our gut to help us with optimal health. So usually these are bacteria, and in our case, it is going to be live bacteria. Some examples of probiotics are lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, enterococcus, bacillus, and pediococcus. But the two strains that USANA decided to go for are lactobacillus rhamnosus and bifidobacterium. And these bold letters after both of these probiotics are just the nicknames for them. And USANA decided to go for these two strains because they're two of the most studied strains. They're able to get to the site of the colon that's desired. They're able to survive the harsh acidic environment of the stomach. So USANA decided these were the two optimal ones to go for. Again, our probiotic product helps support normal, healthy digestion. It is dairy and sugar-free. But something great also about our probiotic product is that it is stable at room temperature for 18 months. When we're dealing with bacteria, they are rather delicate. So we have to be super conscious about storage and making sure they can survive harsh environments or survive its stability and able to stay on the shelf life or on the shelf for a certain amount of time. So 18 months is pretty good. What's recommended is that for our customers that maybe live in more humid or hot environments, it is recommended to put it in the fridge. And again, that's just to help the bacteria in our product survive a little bit longer. Okay. So our other probiotic product is our oral probiotic product. And this is a lozenge that you can put in your mouth to help support healthy teeth and gums. They also help freshen breath and balance our oral microbiome. And the strains that USANA decided to go for our oral probiotic are 2 different lactobacillus strains with the pediococcus strains. And they chose these ones because they've been shown to survive the oral cavity and they help, again, fight bad breath. And this was just an interesting internal subjective rating that some of our scientists did with about 100 associates. And again, this is just subjective. This is not clinical research by any means, but it was interesting to show that after a month of using the oral probiotic lozenge, there was an overall subjective rating of oral health. So again, not really hard clinical data here, but really interesting just to see just the perception of good oral health after usage of this product. Okay, so last little terminology here are postbiotics. And these ones are a little bit newer and a little bit more complicated. So research has revealed that sometimes you don't actually need the full probiotic bacteria to get the benefits of the bacteria. So we can use the compounds that the bacteria produce to get the response that we need. And these compounds can sometimes be proteins or enzymes or other acid. So we're able to isolate the compound that this bacteria releases, or even we can even use an inactivated form of the probiotic bacteria, and it can elicit the desired response. And the reason that we might do this is because live bacteria, again, are so fragile. And that's why we talked about that 18-month shelf life with the prebiotic product. So they are fragile, and sometimes they can be easily destroyed during processing, or they can simply not survive in certain types of products. So when we isolate the specific compound, we call it a probiotic, and it creates a stable delivery form that can be used for different types of products. So some examples of postbiotics that you might see in products are like heat inactivated bacteria. We have crude extracts or cell wall extracts of the bacteria. They might be lipid soluble or water soluble extracts. And then again, we can even use the specific metabolites of the probiotic bacteria themselves. So the USANA postbiotic product is in the whitening toothpaste. And it is called ADP1. So when you see that on the whitening toothpaste, just recognize that that is the postbiotic product. So ADP1 is an inactive form of the probiotic Lactobacillus paracasei. And research has shown that ADP1 is stable and delivers the benefits of the probiotic, helping whitening toothpaste provide an exceptional clean that can help maintain good oral health. So there's still a lot coming out about ADP1. So I'm excited to kind of learn more about it and also to hear what our own further research about it is showing. So ADP1 postbiotic product. So really just to take a step back, we have our products at USANA that help support the microbiome. But the really the number one way to support our microbiome is through our diet. So the human microbiome is influenced by many different things, but most strongly by the food we eat, right? So it's so important to get a diverse group of fiber into our diet, and that helps support microbiome diversity. So this is a study that was done in mice. A lot of microbiome research currently is being done in mice by Trumpet et al. And what they found was that the mice that were given a low fiber diet, when they tested the stool samples for bacteria, those that were given the low fiber diet had very low gut diversity when it came to the different types of bacteria. So these top two, low fiber and standard fiber, these top two charts here, each color represents a different grouping of bacteria. So you can see the low fiber diet, we don't see a lot of diversity there. But when the mice that were given a standard fiber diet, what helped there was quite a bit of diversity of bacteria in their gut. And then down here, the different types of fibers. So the study was looking for something specific, but what they found is that it didn't matter whether they gave them plant fiber or fruit fiber. In this case, whether it was cellulose or pectin, it still contributed to quite a bit of diversity in the gut microbiome of these mice. And again, diversity is key. There's still a lot that we're learning about the microbiome, but what we do know is that diversity is essential for optimal health when it comes to the microbiome. And just a quick shout out for our Ask the Scientist website. It's a great resource for a lot of questions that you might have regarding our products. We've got a great team of scientists behind this that work really hard to make sure that they're updating the articles and providing you with the best research when it comes to various topics. So with that, I just want to say again, thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys were able to learn something. I definitely learned so much in preparing for this. And yeah, shout out for the microbiome.
Yes, Naz, thank you so much. I learned a lot. This was very fascinating. I'm just going to share a few comments of this individual. This is really cool info. Good. And I agree. I mean, you think like, oh, the microbiome, and you start getting like, but this is very good information for all of us to understand and how to support the different microbiomes in our bodies. And Cindy says she loves adding the Fiber G Active to her smoothies.
Good.
So,
yeah.
and I do the same, Cindy. It's a great way to, the Nutrimil I was putting in the chat, it's easy just to add your Nutrimil or other shakes that you may have, but it's a great way to get some extra fiber in our diet.
Right.
And Michael also said he loved the postbiotic explanation. So thank you for that. I think needless to say, it was very well received. So thank you very much. There's still a lot of comments coming in saying thank you. So, and Naz, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share this with everyone. Not only just about the USANA products that can help support that, but other ways that we can do that as well. I think it's a lifestyle. It's a very encompassing approach that we need to support it, right?
Absolutely. And the research in the microbiome is really ongoing. So it's so important to stay up to date on it. I know at USANA we're constantly looking into that. We have a whole team behind specifically microbiome and the products that might help it. But yeah, it's great to keep up on it because we are showing that it has so much untapped potential that we're still discovering. It's really exciting.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again, Naz, and everyone who joined live and those who will watch on replay. We really appreciate it. Please leave in the comments of what you learned, what you're going to share with others of how to help them support their microbiome, their gut. So thank you guys. We'll be back next month with another From the Expert call. We're going to talk about hair, skin, and nails. So keep an eye out for more information on the date and time and our presenter on that. So thank you again, everyone. Hope you have a great day.